month of February, avowed as Black History Month, is the annual observance of Black American contribution to history. Flourished out of Negro History Week, Black History Month became an annual government-long holiday in 1976 due to honorary abolitionists Frederick Douglass and Abraham Lincoln. In 2008, however, reggae also earned its own month-long celebration in February, the month chosen in honor of global rights leader and reggae's biggest international star, Bob Marley.
Reggae is indeed the only revolutionary protest music with unity and equality at its core. Reggae as global music defies the lines of nationality, vies for the liberty of Black people and the elevation of oppressed groups in America, Jamaica, Africa, Europe, the Caribbean, South America, literally from all ends of the earth. Jamaica, derived from the original Taino word, Jamaica, meaning land of wood and water, is the third largest isle in the Caribbean, known for its lush vegetation, stunning waterfalls, and blue mountains. The first ever recorded music sound in Jamaica is Minto. Many Americans are familiar with Minto through Harry Belafonte, a Jamaican-American Tony, Grammy, and NAACP award winner. His famed records like Deo, the Banana Boat song, and Jamaica Farewell helped introduce Afro-Caribbean styles to the American masses. Then in the late 1960s, musicians created reggae, which became Jamaica's most successful export. With a social awareness condemning the ongoing inequities of Black and oppressed communities, reggae quickly gathered a large following. It became the voice of the people. This was very much influenced by Jamaica's first national hero, Marcus Garvey. The Garveyism movement is one of the biggest influences of reggae music, along with Rastafari, a religious, political, and social movement.
So were people in Jamaica aware of what Garvey was doing in America and just how huge it was to Black history?
Between shipping and travelers and newspapers and so on, yes, the news got here, so there was definitely information about his work here.
Okay.
And again, people of a certain consciousness would have been a part of all of that. But I don't know if some people realized at the time how impactful he was across the world. Now, in the States, as you said a while ago, he got an awesome following. Especially because there was a void created by the death of Booker T. Washington.
Right, okay.
You see? Now, Booker T was a separatist, but he was advocating separating and staying in America with maybe some states that were African-American states.
And Garvey.
But Garvey was saying,
let's go back
think
to
for yourself.
Right, let's go to Africa and start our own governed nation.
Yes.
Marcus Garvey's legacy lives on as he is still one of the biggest figures in Black history and world history today. Reggae is a popular music style originating in the late 1960s. The signature sound focuses on the upbeat with a BPM usually slower than American pop music. Some of reggae's biggest artists like Bob Marley, Peter Tosh, Dennis Brown, and Jimmy Cliff all recorded in downtown Kingston studios.
You gotta feel it. It's electric. Ooh, it's shocking. It's electric.
So tell me about the history of downtown Kingston.
This area contributes to Black history in terms that this is downtown where the struggle is real. So just to see it or to pass through reminds you that this is, Black people still struggling, still trying to make the best of their lives.
It's been a long still together since I've got you on my mind.
Bob Marley, Peter Tosh, and Bunny Wailer were three brothers who were very aware of the African movements and the days of slavery. So all their aim and intention was to send the message of upliftment in their music. So they were, I would say that it's an influence from Africa.
Okay.
The consciousness came about from the days of slavery, and they were very knowledgeable of what went on before, our time. So it was not until I started working with Bob Marley, and I can honestly say this with no apology, that Bob Marley was the one who opened my eyes to realize that the music was not just for fun and dance.
Right.
It was much deeper.
Deeper.
It was a responsibility
Yes.
that we have to mankind.
While reggae was gaining global popularity, in New York City, a new cultural music genre was bubbling up as a direct descendant of reggae sound system culture and the dance halls of Jamaica. This was hip hop. On August 11th, 1973, in the Bronx, New York, a 16-year-old DJ Kool Herc and his sister Cindy threw a party at the recreational center of 1520 Sedgwick Avenue. Herc created a breakbeat, which was known as the get down part of the record. This was a new technique that hyped the crowd. Herc also toasted over the records at the parties, which was a technique used in Jamaica by artists like U-Roy and I-Roy. Lastly, it was Herc's major sound system, which was a key component in Jamaican party culture. All of these elements helped create hip-hop, which was born that night in the Bronx.
The pioneer of hip hop, DJ Kool Herc, grew up here in Franklin Town on Upper York Street. It was here where he learned the sound system culture from his dad, uncles, peers, and this community. Today, reggae is still known as a socially conscious protest music steeped in Black liberation. However, it has progressed. There are now many subgenres, including dancehall, dub reggae, ragamuffin, lovers rock, reggae fusion, and more. Here up in the mountains on Skyline Drive lies Kingston Dub Club, one of the most popular roots reggae and dub music places in all of the world. How do roots reggae and dub music contribute to Black history?
Because it's roots music. You can't talk about roots if you don't talk about the roots of humanity.
Okay.
You know, which is, yeah, man, which is Black people, African people. So, you know, the message of the Rastaman, the message of the reggae music and the roots music is the voice of the African. You hear Bob Marley sing about Zimbabwe and thing, and, you know, maybe the news that we get in on this side of the world, you're not knowing what's happening in Zimbabwe, but because Bob Marley sing about it, it make you go do a research and start learning about what going on in Zimbabwe at that time, and the whole thing, and it carried on, and then, you know, again now the rabbit hole go as deep as it go.
How does present day reggae show up in Pan-Africanism and Black pride themes?
It's still showing up. It's still showing up because the message never changed, the vibes never change, you know, and even the message becoming more and more relevant as time goes on, because prophecy are fulfilled. So things that the Rastaman did, I sing about and I talk about and I chant about back in the day is now, you know, happening in real time.
And it's a protege, eh? Chronics are where you say, eh? Okay.
How is reggae Black history in your own words?
I think reggae is like the consciousness of Africa in the Western world. It's a music that always talking about, you know, issues, philosophies and stuff. And I think that it has carried a lot of history in it and ideologies and thoughts throughout the decades. So I think it's a good representation of Black history. I mean, reggae music is always not just one element. Yes, it spoke about injustices and problems, but it also was always about love and caring and upliftment and all these things, you know? We can't be stuck in struggling our minds forever and ever. We must at some point in time, you know, concentrate on upliftment, and I think that reggae music covers all those bases.
It does, but you know, they call it a protest music.
Yeah.
The one and only revolutionary protest music. So do you think it's still a protest music today with the modern day artists?
I think there's definitely elements of it, but like I would say, is Bob Marley, is this love protest music? That's reggae music as well, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is Gregory Isaac Night Nurse protest music? It's reggae music as well. So it's not just one element. It's not just about protest and struggle. It's about everything. So we can just group an unlimited amount of ideas and expression as one direct thing.
Yeah, it's not all about protest, but the idea of unity and love, I think, goes hand in hand with Black liberation
Yeah.
and freedom and oneness.
I think it's important for Black men and women to really and truly investigate their history and the past of Africa. You know, a lot of time people will want to disassociate themselves from Africa. I hear Americans say it even a lot of the times that don't call me African, I'm just an American. And I want to remind people that, you know, even Black people in America, Black people were never brought to America to be equal citizens. It's something you have to remember. How can you be planted where you're not wanted? It's something to be very conscious of that. That was never the intention. And Black people have made an enormous amount of strides to better themselves. And but we always have to remember that we were never brought to the West to be citizens.
Right.
So it's important to know the history.
What do you see for the future of reggae?
For the 2 years that we have been not being able to do that, I think it really hurt the genre. So I'm very hopeful that with this year, with a lot of live shows happening, the strength of reggae music can really come to the forefront and keep expanding.
Black History Month and Reggae Month are important for all nationalities because they are transnational and they benefit the entire diaspora. It is up to us to put the pieces of the puzzle together and to educate the generations because much like Marcus Garvey once said, a people without knowledge of their history, origin, and culture is like a tree without roots. And we all know that trees without roots do not bear fruit and do not grow. Happy Black History Month. Happy Reggae Month.